Tonight I have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Michael McCray. Mr. McCray was born in Spain to Mr. and Mrs. Harry R. McCray. He grew up in the Middlebrook and Greenville area, literally hanging around this school during its construction. He graduated from Riverheads in 1972 and went on to play baseball at James Madison University as a history major. His professional career is filled with fellowships and awards as a historian and teacher. Mr. McCray epitomizes what a teacher at Riverheads is. He doesn't just know the material or teach it, he loves it and lives it. His students can see it in the twinkle of his eyes as he's talking about Andrew Jackson in the War of 1812, or even just that classic Southern drawl that comes out when evoking old Southerners, and especially my favorite, Rutherford B. Hayes. I have never come across a man who appreciates history more, or has a greater passion for its preservation than Mr. McCray. His delight for what is past has made him a student favorite and a clear choice for making our commencement address. It gives me great honor and joy to introduce Mr. Michael M. McCray.
Administrators, faculty and staff, family and friends, and graduates, ladies and gentlemen, class of 2013, thank you for the honor and privilege of speaking to you this evening. In his introduction, Jacob let you know that a number of years ago I also sat in the gym at Riverheads, waiting to graduate. But I barely remember. It's not that my memory has faded over the years. I forgot the details almost immediately. My mind that night was probably doing what yours is now. Anything other than waiting to hear what a commencement speaker has to say. I think my classmates and I were reminded how hard we worked to get that far, as I'm reminding you now. And I'm sure we were reminded that those who cared for us were not just proud of us, but confident that we could be anything we wanted to be, just as all of these people are confident in you. In short, I guess we were reminded that we were capable of and expected to be living representatives of our school and community. Now, I imagine that's what I've heard, but I'm not sure. I don't even know who the speaker was. I hate to admit it, the same thing's going to probably happen with you. One of these days, you're only going to remember me as the teacher who loved the San Francisco Giants, and told corny jokes all the time. What you will remember from tonight are the emotions, the faces, the anticipation. You will remember your family, teachers, friends, and classmates who were here with you because they wanted to share a big day in your life. You will remember the odds and ends that don't seem memorable, but are. Actually, I do remember a little. Those days, graduation was actually a 2-day affair, baccalaureate and graduation, and they were required. Partway through the baccalaureate service, suddenly a piercing, shrill sound erupted in the crowd. It wasn't just any squeal. I mean, this one probably sent half the dogs in the county under a porch somewhere. We didn't know what it was. For several seconds, there was a little bit of chaos, but then it stopped. Later that night, I learned the rest of the story. It was my grandmother's hearing aid. And the funny part was, while my mother was trying to turn it off, my little grandmother was smiling, looking around, and wondering what all the fuss was about. That's what I remember. That's what I remember from my graduation. Well, I teach history, and those of you who have my class know that I often use the very words that help to make that history. Speeches, quotes, old sayings, writings. Again tonight, I'll do the same. Yeah, you're going to get one more. But only a few of the words will be mine. Consider this. What if Abraham Lincoln were your graduation speaker? What would he have to say? Here we are exactly 150 years removed from two huge events. The Emancipation Proclamation and a certain little speech made at Gettysburg. One man was at the heart of those events and remains the most significant character of that era, possibly any in our history. So this anniversary year, I decided that the words and wisdom of Lincoln would serve me well. We know the facts. Born into poverty, losing his mother early on, son of an abusive, domineering father, lacking any formal education. This person, with as many strikes against him as any of us, made no excuses and refused to be defined by those around him. He took every opportunity to improve himself and develop a set of values that kept him focused for a lifetime and ultimately helped him save a nation and set people free. If we can't learn from Lincoln, I doubt we can learn from anyone. Now, Lincoln valued language. He didn't parse words, but spoke in straight, simple terms. He knew that words could move people to action or cut and hurt. So he rarely said anything in a negative way, something many today seem to have forgotten. But his depth of thought, his honesty, steadfastness, won over political rivals and even enemies. He was humble and able to laugh at himself. He didn't deny making mistakes, and he learned from each one that he did make. He changed and thus grew as he matured. Abraham Lincoln was a funny guy, too, a great storyteller. He used humor to ease tense moments and to win over skeptics. Long before some study suggested that laughter is the best medicine, he was using it as a tonic to explain things in down-to-earth tones. He often made himself the butt of the jokes he told. There are examples of this. It said that a woman once accused Lincoln of being two-faced, to which he said, "If I were two-faced, would I be using this one?" Another story has it that a man upon first meeting Abe said, "A long time ago, I said if I ever met a man other than me, I'd shoot him on the spot." And Lincoln said, "Well, go ahead and shoot them, because if I'm uglier than you, I deserve to die." Another tale claimed that Lincoln met a woman on the road. As they passed, she looked him in the eye and said, "I do believe you're the homeliest person I've ever encountered." He said, "Ma'am, I'm sure I am, but I can't help it." To which she said, "No, you can't help it, but you could stay home." So remember, a little humor is going to get you through a lot of days. And please, don't take yourself so seriously that you can't laugh at yourself. Lincoln was a very ambitious person. Though he wasn't afraid to earn a decent living, his ambition was mainly directed at accomplishing things that mattered for the greater good. He didn't hide the fact that he hoped to be remembered for something that would make the world remember that his life had had meaning. With that in mind, listen to some of his advice. On determination, he said, always bear in mind that your own resolution, that resolution to succeed, is more important than any other one thing. Or, things may come to those who wait, but only things left by those who hustle. Lincoln cared little for those who had things handed to or thought that they were owed something. I might add here that one of the most popular commencement addresses given anywhere last year was given by David McCulloch, Jr., English teacher at Wellesley High School in Massachusetts and the son of a noted historian. Mr. McCulloch told the students that they weren't special. They, the members of the trophy generation with the helicopter parents and self-esteem, go from end to end, were nevertheless going to have to go out on their own and make their way in tough work. Lincoln put it this way: you have to do your own growing, no matter how tall your grandfather was. While in school you've learned much, however, you're going to learn that thinking on your feet is also required. Teachers and parents won't always be there. Example, as a young man, Lincoln was elected captain of his local militia. He had no military experience and at one point was confronted with a problem he hadn't anticipated and he thought on his feet. While teaching his troops to march in formation, he found the group approaching the fence. Suddenly he realized he didn't know what to do about that. He didn't know the command to deal with the situation. So he quickly said, "Company halt." Paused for a moment. Then he said, "Company dismissed for 2 minutes. After that time, fall in on the other side of the fence." Pretty quick thing. Two related Lincoln quotes are great advice for graduates. Walk slowly. Never walk backwards. And be sure to put your feet in the right place and then stand firm. Lincoln had a hard life. He suffered depression. He lost elections. He was called everything in the book. His marriage was rocky. 2 of his sons died while still young boys. And he saw a nation nearly destroyed on his watch. Yet he maintained a positive attitude. I hope all of you are happy people. But if you're not, please find a way to become one. Lincoln said most folks are as happy as they make up their minds to be. I believe he was right. He also said that in the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. And by the way, lots of people, not all of your choosing, will affect your life. So don't make enemies, don't be stubborn, be willing to bend. Lincoln said that if you look for the bad in people, expecting to find it, you surely will. And he added that the best way to destroy an enemy is to make him a friend. A few more quick appropriate Lincoln lines. Don't worry when you're not recognized, but strive to be worthy of recognition. Also, when I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. That's my religion. And now the classic. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and live all doubt. Abraham Lincoln loved the truth as much as he loved anything. Keep in mind, he was a politician, so the term is a little relative, but still, facts, truths matter to him. And they should matter to you. Base your life on facts, not opinions. Get the facts right. A riddle of his makes the point. How many legs does a dog have if you call the tail a leg? 4. Calling the tail a leg doesn't make it a leg. And the quote on plain old honesty, no man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. Abe was honest, but sometimes the truth can be hard, so he also believed in being tactful. At a meal, he once said to his server, "If this is coffee, please bring me tea. If this is tea, bring me the coffee." He realized that we are often our own worst enemy, and that our words and actions bring undue attention. So while not being too timid, remember Lincoln's advice. What kills a skunk is the publicity he gives himself. The members of this graduating class are leaving as a long line of others before. Some confident, some scared. Some well prepared, some not as much. Some happy to be finished. Some a little secretly sad to leave. But you all have something in common with those that went before. You will make your mark. And go positively. The citizens of this community, this state and nation are counting on it. We want you to achieve success. And more than that, we want you to make a difference. I'm not talking about income or title, but the way you carry yourself, the way you treat your fellow man. Lincoln put it well. I like to see a man proud of the place he lives. I like to see a man live so that this place is proud of him. One more Lincoln chapter. A sailor was overtaken at sea by a storm. He thought he should pray, but didn't really know how, so tentatively he went down on his knees and said, "Oh Lord, you know as well as myself that it's seldom I bother you. But if you only save me this one time, it'll be a long time before I bother you again." Ladies and gentlemen, I won't bother you again. I think Lincoln somewhere right now is going. So, class of 2013, we congratulate you, we honor you, we wish you luck. Godspeed. God bless.